Hey, how's it going, everybody? Now we're gonna do the butchering. So I start. You can start wherever you want. I'm gonna start with the inner tenderloins, then I'll work my way from the top all the way to the bottom. Inner tenderloins are these right here. I know a lot of people call the back straps the tenderloins, and I was shocked on how many hunters did not know about inner tenderloins. This is the most tender piece of meat on this animal, and it's usually the case with most animals. So with these, really, all you gotta do, this has got damage here, and I'll cut that out when I do my processing. But you can literally just get your fingers in here, run them the length of this, and for the most part, they'll tear right out. I still got some stuff I did not clean up in there. Oh, that got hammered there. Okay, feel the tip. Let's run my finger down. Pull the whole thing out just like that. After this is cleaned up, it'll look much better, of course, but that's that's what you're looking for. Do the same thing over here. Get your finger in behind this. You can do this with a knife. It's quicker to use your finger. There is a membrane up here, though. If you pop it with your knife, it'll make this much easier. I just go all the way to the top. Pop it with my fingers. And run it down. You can do the same thing with your back straps. If you're in a pinch, like I know this, when it's hunting season first starts, it's 80 degrees outside. I do not mess around. I will just take a game bag with me out into the field, and that's better. That's what you got. I'll take a game bag with me out into the field, and what I'll do is, as soon as I drop the deer, I'll be out there. I will hang it, get it skinned, rip that off, and immediately start cording it all out right there. Just take a little bone saw with you and put everything into a game bag, and you can do all this in 25 minutes. I mean, start to finish. When it's that hot, you do not want to mess around in that kind of heat. The meat will start deteriorating immediately. All right, next, I'm going to get that head off so I can get the neck roast. And I'll show you. I'm just going to go in right here, make a cut straight through both sides, get the trach. When I hit the spine, right off, just like that, I'll take and come right up here. I want to get in so I can see where the joint is. And I got the luxury of the sawzall, so straight through. And this will be your neck roast. Now, that neck roast is fairly small. The last deer I got, the neck roast was 3 times that size. It depends on what they're eating, where they're at, whether you get a buck or a doe. All this is relevant in size, but it's all going to eat the same. Only thing I would tell you is anything over 150 pounds dressed, I will hang for no less than 5 days. When I can take my finger and push it into the meat with zero resistance, almost no resistance, that's when I'll cut it up. If it's still, I'll let it hang a little more. You know, if you got a good place to hang, or you made yourself a walk-in cooler or something like that, of course, temperatures like this, you can just hang it outside, man. But that'll tenderize it. It'll make the meat a lot more palatable and tender. Okay, I'm starting with the rear quarter. What we're gonna do is we'll start with the ball roast. That's what everybody calls it, the ball roast or football roast. It is not a roast. It is actually a sirloin. And later I'll do a how-to on how to cook this awesome piece of meat. So feel down, and then right here beneath this connective tissue, solid bone, make a tiny incision, go in a little deeper until you can start peeling. All right, get your fingers in there and peel. And you want to separate these muscle groups. That's all we're doing here. I'll just comb straight down, separate connective tissue a little bit. I'm at the point where I can see good connective tissue. And I'll take this off right now so I don't got to monkey with it inside. That's it. All this connective tissue with chunks of meat in it, I will cut out these chunks of meat and they will go like this. That's a good thick one. This good thick one. It'll go into the grind pile. And we'll have a ton of meat that will be grinding for burger. Sorry, I forgot I wasn't recording. I'm on the other ball roast. All I'm doing is same exact thing. Now I'm just peeling it out and separating it from the muscle group. Another beautiful hunk. A lot of people will just pitch all their connective tissue without, but look, man, look how thick this piece of meat is, and it goes all the way up into here, so it's worth it to me. Like I said before, I'm gonna get every scrap of meat off this animal. Plus, it's gonna add, by the time it's all said and done, I'm gonna have like 30 pounds of burger. All right, next, I'm gonna go in right here. You can see this muscle group where it goes down. It follows the hip joint all the way in and all along the femur. So just make your cut, follow that in. I don't like to hammer down in there and hit bone every time you do that. I will simply go in a little bit and comb. I think that's the best way to do it. Once you get freed up here from the femur, take this piece and start peeling it back. You peel it back and expose all the other muscle groups. These muscle groups will just separate. Now, once you got this exposed here, just start combing and separate that. Pull it all the way back. Now I'm going to separate this from this big old chunk of connective tissue. So, this is your connective tissue. Small little cuts. And keep combing with your knife. And a lot of this is just going to tear right off, just like this, which is what you want. And you Nice big hunk of meat. And you can grind it. You can keep it stews. Most of this deer is going into canning. We're going to can most of this. This goes into the burger bowl. And I will trim everything in the burger bowl up. It's not going to just go out like that, but look at this. This is the hidden tenderloin that is in your deer. And everybody misses this. I did my last video, I did the short one just to see what kind of response I would get, was how to remove this. And I got really good responses, which is why I'm doing this video now, because everybody was interested in how to do your own. You don't have to have been hunting your whole life. You don't have to be Mr. Super Outdoorsman. You can simply want healthier food for your family. And this is how you do it. Part of how you do it. I have been hunting a long, long time. I think I got away from it a little bit when I was a teenager because I was too busy doing other stuff. But we all get back to our roots, or at least you should. This is just going to be a bonus. This, I said this before, this ain't mine. I learned this from watching Dr. Grant Woods in a video he did, because like a lot of other dudes, this was just coming off in the grind pile. Looks like a tenderloin, same muscle texture, and it tastes like a tenderloin, man. For comparison, this one's the actual tenderloin. This is the hidden tenderloin. I think the hidden tenderloin actually probably looks better. Anyways, it'll give you 4 instead of 2 tenderloins out of this sucker. Can't beat it. This deer has a lot of tallow, man. So deer don't have fat, they have tallow. And it is like thick wax. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen a bunch of dudes, well, this is the best broth yet. You cannot make good broth from venison. From the bones, from the meat, from nothing. It will, when you take a drink of your broth, it's gonna feel like you ate a candle. Wax will be covering everything in your mouth. I have tried it, sieving it several times through strainers, through cheesecloth. Like, I'm not kidding you, 30 times. And then I'm like, I got this one. Take a drink, ate a candle. There's just no way around the tallow in deer. There's nothing you can do about it. But didn't stop me from trying. Lesson learned. So we're gonna continue breaking the rear down here. Now, you can just push your fingers through all along the femur and separate those groups. And that's what you should do. But you do want to get this out of there first. In this is a giant right here, lymph node. Part of the lymphatic system in here, and you do not want to eat this, man. So get that out of there. Get in under here and just push up a little bit and keep separating muscle groups. This one, you gotta go a little bit deeper because there is a lot of meat way up into the hip joint. You don't want to waste this. Now, again, you're following muscle groups, so look at that right there. Bust your connective tissue. and just start pulling. It will separate. See all that? Voila. Now way up in there, where you gotta cut into. You know, you can cut in here deep. You're not gonna get the back strap. It's gonna start about right here. So don't worry about that. Let's just push around this hip bone. And there's lots of connective tissue holding that on there. But see, way up in there. Voila. And I'll trim this all up, but this is a nice hunk of meat. The way this runs, super grainy like this, you can use it for fajitas, skirt steaks, things like that. Works really good for fajitas, because after you barbecue it, you cut against the grain. It is super tender, man. Just very good. I'm gonna save you the trouble of going through this other side. Okay, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through this. This one I'm gonna do a little differently. I just started pushing my fingers in and separating muscle groups, and I'll do smaller chunks here, but I will get more just really good, smaller tenderloin-like pieces. If tenderloins are what you like, then this is the way to do it. Me, personally, I could care less about tenderloins. I do love a good back strap, don't get me wrong, but my favorite cut of meat is absolutely the neck roast. A good, big, thick neck roast. In the slow cooker all day, that makes the best roasts. They're super tender, very good. Get your fingers in there and rip and tear, man. Nice. Imitation back strap. Now I'm just gonna get in by the hip all the way like I did with the other one. Down to the femur. Comb the femur. Don't put the edge of your blade against the femur. This is definitely burger. Now, this giant hunk here, I exposed the hidden tenderloin. Just a different way of getting to it. Tendons in there. Real big. I'm removing this lymph node first. Do not want to feed this to your family. Amazing, the systems on deer. I've taken deer in the field, and after I get them home and start processing them, I'll find a slug in the lung, an arrowhead in the rear. I mean, these things can take some punishment and just keep on rolling. They're a tough, tough animal. They want to live. It's the only animal, besides one other, that's in every state in the nation. Hot, cold, desert, frozen tundra, doesn't matter, they survive. Them and coyotes. Tough animals, man. Tough, tough animals. Can't stand coyotes, but I got a lot of respect for them. I gotta pause for a second, my fingers are numb. Okay, got most of the rear quarter done by now. So this little hunk here is a very tender awesome piece of meat. Just come in, start cutting, running your finger. All you're doing is freeing this up. We leave this, if it's just me and my wife, and do a couple of steaks because this is just super tender meat. You know, a lot of people go right to the grind pile with it. Nothing wrong with that. But this is a very good tender piece of meat. Next, we're going to do the back straps. Your back straps, feel where the spine is. Short blade. Just a little incision, hug the bone all the way up. Should go up with very little resistance. All the way down to the neck. Uh-oh. Oh no! Hanging on by a thread. I do not want it falling in all that hair. I'm gonna lighten this up. We're gonna go a different route real quick. I'm gonna get a bunch of weight off of here very quickly. Okay. And we'll hope it doesn't fall down on me, but it probably will. I'm gonna do the front shoulders. So your front legs. These are not held on by bone. This is just a muscle group holding this all together. All you need to do, manhandle this sucker and rip it most of the way off. I am afraid to do that. So we will fillet it off, which is just as efficient. Whole front. Now this is another one of my favorite pieces. This whole thing here, this is all a blade roast, and it is very good. Slow cooker or Dutch oven, several hours, that meat falls apart. Same thing on the other side. All my knives are very sharp. My dullest knife is probably sharper than most people's sharpest knife. Another nice one. Okay. Freed up a bunch of weight. We'll continue on with this back strap and see if this doesn't fall apart on us. Hopefully it does not. So, from the bone. Can't believe this thing's still hanging on. My thread. Normally I have a leg to balance this, but fillet this right off of the spine. Feel it out. I would have my fingers in here, be combing this bone, but I'm afraid to do that right now. It's barely hanging on. I hear a lot of hunters complain about the price they pay to get a deer processed, or they didn't get all their meat, they got someone else's meat. I'm sure a lot of it's true. Do your own. Do your own deer. You're going to get 10 times more meat than a processor who's got 100 of them lined up and has got to pump them out. He ain't going to get all the meat you are. Bam. Look at that, huh? Nice back strap. Not the biggest, but it will do. Normally, you can get your fingers in here and go straight down. And see all this? You hit flat with that and run your hand all the way down. This sucker just comes right out. If I do that right now, this whole thing will be on the ground. Wow. Yeah. Do love a good backstrap. Now, go back through and get any chunks you see along that backstrap. These are all awesome for grinding. Great burger. Just make sure you don't get any spinal cord in there, man. That will not taste good. Yeah, it's a little gnarly. The ribs, what you can do is you can take your sawzall and cut straight down here and go out, and then cut them in half again and separate them into like fours or fives. And there's not a lot of meat on them, but they're super good. They're super tender. I will save all my shanks, like front shanks. This one I'll cut here down to here, and I'll come up and I'll cut this off as well. And these will go in the crock pot all day for a roast or barbacoa or Mississippi pot roast. That slow and low just does an awesome job for the ribs. Literally, all I'll do, come in here. It's already split pretty good, but your ribs will go all the way down. Right? You have this membrane here. You're gonna want to take that off because these are usually stuck with a lot. See, I ain't even gonna be able to take these ones. These ribs have tallow flat against the bone, and there's almost no meat. And sometimes you'll get that, but I found with your bigger deer, you'll have not only a nice hunk of meat on those ribs, you'll have the outer membrane. It may have very little tallow just on the outside, none on the inside, and you'll have just connective tissue holding it to the ribs. I'll leave that. I'll just very gently carve the tallow off of the outside, slice those ribs into, you know, threes and fours, and vacuum seal them. And they're very good. It's just a slow and low process. It's not like you're going to get a big hunk of pork ribs or beef ribs. It's not the same. Not nearly as much meat, but it is very good. I'm gonna trim the rest of this up and put whatever into the grind, and the rest I'm probably gonna end up canning. I have a lot of canning to do. That is one thing I've never really done. Uh, I always known about it, but a few years ago, my mother-in-law gave us a few cans of deer meat, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they canned a ton of it. It was superb. It was awesome. We did a stir fry with it, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Super tender, very good. So I am going to pretty much dedicate 50 pounds to quartz. So we have that on hand for, and all you really got to do is drain it when you pop the lid, drain it, warm it up, and you're good to go. You can do burritos, enchiladas, tacos, nachos, stew, stir fries, all kinds of different stir fry. Very good. And if you're pressed for time, you're running kids to games and doing crap like that, man, it's a lifesaver. Very easy, very simple. For the shanks on the rear quarter, all I am going to do here is that one's being held up. So this one I'm gonna bust free about right here. Cut this tendon free, man. You do not want to cook that. It ain't gonna cook, it ain't gonna eat good. And I'll come down right here, cut just till I hit the bone. Same thing on the other side. You take your Sawzall or your meat saw. This whole thing, crock pot for sure. There'll be another portion of roast for us. Do the same thing with the other side. Take your other one, do the same thing. Another nice one, just for the crock pot. This is part of the connective tissue over the ribs. I will throw this into the grind pile. This is a nice chunk. It'll grind well, it'll make good burger. Most people just throw this out. Don't just grind it, man. More burger. I'll pick the meat off, or the head off here first. Trimming this up is same thing. You're just separating muscle groups. But like I said, not much on here. I can put my finger straight through, and it's mostly tallow, underneath tallow. So there's not a lot you can do with that. Same with the connective tissue here. By the time you carve this off, there'll be nothing left of this. It's just nothing you can really do. Your bigger deer, you'll have a nice hunk of meat in there, and you can either carve off all the tallow or keep it as is, man. And either way is good. I've got deer so big, I've got nice flank steaks out of them. This ain't too shabby. I'll be able to grind this at least. Big chunk of it. How should I just trim it up a little bit? I could have got another couple inches maybe off of the neck. Yeah, about an inch. But what I got was pretty decent. Less trimming you have to do inside, the better. So get everything off out here that you can before you go inside. Throw it down. Right next to the trach, there's always some good chunks. It's not good. This one should be. I'll trim a little bit of it up. Some of it I'll just throw right in. Depends on how solid it is. You gotta be careful. You do not want to grind a whole bunch of deer fat or sinew or silver skin at all, because you'll have a very strong gamey flavor, and anyone who tries venison who hasn't had it before is going to be like, I don't like venison. Super gamey. You gotta do a good job when you're butchering. This is just your rough stuff to get it in the house on the cutting board so you can go to work. Looks like there's a lot of meat, but this is all bone. Basically, we have skeletonized it. So, this is what we're left with. And this is a good pile of meat. What do you think? This much beef would cost you at the grocery store? It'd be ridiculous. And there is zero fat in this, none. It's like I said, it's tallow. It's a very lean, super high protein meat. It doesn't get any more organic than this, and it doesn't get any better. Anyways, this is how you do your own. Hope you enjoyed the content. I got a crazy amount of people asking for me to do a whole one. Wasn't sure how the first one would go, so here you go. Any questions, just ask, all right? Thanks for watching. Remember, we're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for watching.